What is up, everybody? This is Patrick Valentine, and I'm here to talk about the situation with Corey Graves and CM Punk. I saw this on social media. Fellow YouTuber King Schmidt was commenting on everything Punk's, everything that, you know, everything that Graves was saying about company, what am I saying? Graves was commenting and was talking down CM Punk because he left WWE, talking smack about him and saying that he made a terrible decision to leave the one thing that made him. And it's very difficult and Corey Graves obviously doesn't understand. Corey Graves was going on Twitter saying all this stuff about Punk and berating him and talking him down, you know, all that nonsense. Just really talking him down, not making, just really, he was more like he was embarrassing himself. He was embarrassing himself more than he was trying to embarrass CM Punk. He was talking all this nonsense, saying that, you know, saying to Punk that he turned his back on WWE and, you know, like he had a real job, you know, and Punk's a failure because he lost in UFC, and all this other nonsense, you know. So, you know, Corey Graves, he was just in the wrong, in my opinion. Corey Graves is in the wrong, and, you know, he was saying all this stuff, you know, everything. It was just nauseating, saying that, he's saying all this stuff on Twitter. It just wasn't nice. And especially it happened after his fight. And even there were a lot of people calling Punk a failure. There were a lot of people calling Punk a failure because he took a chance on himself. He took a chance on himself. And so Punk took a chance on himself, and sure, it might not have paid off. Sure, it might not have paid off, but he definitely gave it his best shot. He definitely gave it his best shot, and that is the one thing that I wish people would understand. Punk gave it his best shot. Now, I didn't watch the UFC fight. I don't watch UFC. I absolutely do not like UFC. I don't watch it, nor do I want to watch it. I am more of a professional wrestling fan. I don't watch UFC. Nor that I want to watch UFC. You can't make me sit down and watch UFC. I've heard stories of Brock Lesnar's fights, Ronda Rousey's fights. You know, I've heard a lot of shit about other people's, you know, fights in UFC. And I also heard a story about one person losing an ear because of a UFC fight. That's how bad UFC is. That's how bad UFC is. I'm just not a UFC person, nor that I would ever want to step into an octagon. I've been hit before. I've never been sent to a hospital after being hit, but I've been hit before. And trust me, And trust me, it hurts. And the suckish thing is, I didn't know self-defense. So me being hit was just, the worst thing that could ever happen to somebody who doesn't really know much about fighting in general. Punk has a lot to prove, and I'm proud of him for doing what he loves to do. I'm proud of him for doing what he wanted to do. What he wanted to do was to prove to everybody he could do it. He eventually just came off winning a court case against WWE. He just came off winning a court case against WWE, and that doctor, I can't remember his name, but he won a court case against one of the doctors who damn near tried to kill him after putting a staph infection into him. I believe that's what it was. A staph infection. I believe that's what it was. I'm not 100% sure on that. Even though I have watched Punk's podcast about it, all Punk ever wanted to do was the main event WrestleMania. And he never got it. There were 2 chances WWE could have done with it, and they didn't do it. Just showed you that they took advantage of CM Punk. WWE turned their back on Punk. So Corey Graves is wrong in that aspect. And I don't know why he brought up Kenny Omega. I really don't know why Corey Graves brought up Kenny Omega for whatever reason about a story about CM Punk. That is certainly something I truly didn't understand. But Corey Graves, after everything that he's said about Punk, I'm sure Corey Graves is a good worker when it comes to, I know there are a lot of people that say Corey Graves is a great color commentator, but I'm starting to find him really, really annoying on commentary. His constant talking, his constant bickering, even especially when Mandy Rose makes her entrance, you overhearing him bloody talking over her entrance, and it's really nauseating. He's like the modern day Jerry Lawler when Mandy Rose comes out. But all I'm saying is that I find Corey Graves, I'm starting to find him annoying. I'm not sure I'm pretty sure there are people out there that don't think Corey Graves is annoying, but I'm starting to find Graves very, very annoying on commentary. Like, on Monday Night Raw, you're having him hate Elias. You're having Michael Cole cheer Elias. And you got Corey Graves calling Elias an idiot. But then you got Bobby Roode, who's a babyface. He comes out, and you got Corey Graves saying, "Give me a hallelujah," every time Bobby Roode comes out. Where's the consistency of him as a heel? You even had him, talking down. You even had him, praising Charlotte. You have Corey Graves, a heel commentator, which Charlotte is a babyface, and you're having him put over a babyface. If he's a heel, he shouldn't be cheering for a babyface. He should be cheering for the heels. That's the thing I find annoying about Corey Graves. He's not doing his job. If he's a heel commentator, he should always be going for the heel wrestlers. Now, of course, Becky and Charlotte are both baby faces. And sure, he might have to pick a side. That's fair enough. If you got two baby faces in the ring, then yeah, you're going to have to take your side. It was the same thing with Lana and Billie Kay a few weeks ago. They were both heels. They were both heels, so you had to pick a side. Who would you go for? But I really find Corey Graves not annoying on commentary. I'm sorry for everybody who likes Corey Graves on commentary. I just find Corey Graves very annoying. And what he said about CM Punk was not on. Saying that Punk turned his back on WWE. He turned on his best friend. You know, and all this other stuff that he said about Punk. I'm not going to go over everything he said about Punk. People on Twitter would have seen it, so you know what I'm talking about. Corey Graves, it's not on for Corey Graves. I'm sorry, Graves, buddy, but that's just not on. What he said about Punk was just not right. And I hope Punk I wish Punk the best of luck in his future endeavors, especially if it is in UFC or not. Because I've heard stories that Dana White might release CM Punk. I don't know, but I heard this report going around that Dana White said if Punk loses again, he might release him. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, guys, that's basically all this video. I know I really didn't talk much about the Corey Graves stuff, about Punk, but I did mention it. I did say what Corey Graves said was not right and it wasn't on. I disagree with what Corey Graves said about Punk on Twitter. And I just want people to understand. Sure, Punk left WWE, but there's always that possibility. And Punk, before I go, I want to talk about something else. Punk said on an interview on UFC, now, if this is true, then that means if he does get fired from UFC, I think he's going to be retired, he's going to give up on himself, and he'll probably have AJ Lee do all the work stuff for him. He said that he will never ever return to wrestling. Not Ring of Honor, not New Japan, not Lucha Underground, nowhere. No more wrestling, no matter what. No more wrestling. That's what he said. No more wrestling. I'm done with it. So we'll see what happens down the line there. But I'm pretty sure. Here's the other thing. When people say they're done with something, they eventually come back. If CM Punk does get fired from UFC, he'll probably get AJ Lee to do something for him, knowing him. But anyway, that's enough for this video. I'll be posting this up a little bit later on in the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Comment your thoughts down below on your thoughts about this whole Corey Graves, CM Punk stuff. And be sure to follow me on Twitter @PValentine. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all later.